Hello and welcome. I am your host, and my name is Patrick Ryan, and this is the sweetest stuff, Mark Register. We are here with the one, the only, Francis Maxwell, host, producer, and general shit talker at the Young Turks.
You took that straight from my Twitter.
Well, why wouldn't I? So you've started getting your hands dirty streaming, kind of being an internet man. How you doing, Francis?
I'm doing fantastic this morning. It's a lovely sunny day in Los Angeles. I can't really complain.
Well, you're lucky to have sun. We have snow almost everywhere else in the United States.
Yes, exactly.
So, we're really glad to have you. Do you mind if we kind of start with our rapid fire segment?
You can hit me with you. I would like to be on the receiving end of your rapid fire.
Just like the beginning of the interview, right? So yeah, we call it Turn It to 11, and okay. I promise, this is going to be really, really simple, easy, and then we'll get into some stuff that might make you cry or bring out emotions that you haven't on the internet yet. So paper or plastic?
Plastic.
Okay, fair. Console or PC?
Console.
Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony?
Nintendo, absolutely.
Wow.
Tell me a little more. Tell me a little more.
I've grown up playing the original Nintendo. I mean, the latest Nintendos and the Wii, whatever, they can stay wherever they want to be. But I'm talking about the original classic Nintendo, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers is just what I was growing up on, and that will always hold a place in my heart, I have to say.
I think that's fair. Anybody who's got a real soul probably loves Nintendo 64.
Of course, and anyone who doesn't have a soul will regain a soul after playing Mario Kart.
You can be saved.
You can be saved. But you definitely can either be saved or pushed over the edge when you play Super Smash Brothers and suddenly Jigglypuff is smacking you all over the place.
Damn Jigglypuff, resting all over me.
Always swallowing me.
So action or drama movies, what's your style?
Actually drama. I love a good tear jerker. It has to be said. I like to watch stuff that gets the emotions flowing. And that's in television and movies. I think in television I love soppy stuff like The Vampire Diaries.
Wow.
And I'll prefer that over maybe Breaking Bad.
Wow. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. I you know what? And I can't hold it against you. My wife likes dramatic things too.
Yeah, exactly.
USA or rest of world?
Rest of
this was
world.
Submitted
Come
by
on.
Mark.
As asked to a resident of Scotland, yes, I am in the United States, but I think I would just be crucifying myself if I answered that question in a different way.
Well, we were going to kind of play off and make a joke that maybe you liked American football more than, I'll call it soccer. I can't handle calling it the other word.
I would rather you call it soccer because I would hate for you then to try and attempt to call it football in our accent, which comes across like football. Ball.
There's like an umlaut or something. I don't even know what the thing's called. I don't know. A tilt. Are you a morning person or a night person?
Morning. Absolutely morning person, as you can see with my cheery self.
That's right. Yeah, you do. Sub or dom?
Sub.
Wow.
Is this? Yes, have you seen 50 Shades of Grey? Are you, you and your girlfriend exploring?
Yes. We went to see it for Valentine's Day, but
wow.
it just came to me, and I just can't explain why. So, I guess it's a natural reaction.
Yeah, it's like a knee jerk reaction.
Yes. So it was just like, I guess it must be right.
It came out.
A sub would say that.
I'm surprising myself here because
I told you things were going to come out in this interview that you didn't expect.
So now I just need to tell my girlfriend that I am the submissive and see how she takes that.
She like whips out a whip. She's like, I've been waiting.
Can I show you my closet?
So what was your favorite cartoon growing up? This is a little more
Hey
innocent.
Arnold. Hey Arnold.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Favorite character from Hey Arnold?
Yeah, I liked Stinky, the guy that was always breathing down Helga's neck. And she would just dash him right in the face. But I just loved the show. It was always, looking back on it now, it's hilarious because Arnold's grandfather's like slightly perverted, like his grand's really crazy. So it's like there's so many weird characters that you never really picked up on as a kid. You just kind of watched it for the sake of watching it. But then when you watch back when you're older, it's amazing the things that you haven't noticed, but you see when you watch back.
So I assume you've been rewatching Hey Arnold, then that's kind of like what you do in your free
it's
time.
like it's what I go to bed to. I can't sleep without being. I feel as if I'm being called football head, and I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed feeling that way.
You fall asleep to the Hey Arnold. Like,
Move it, football head.
So what is your favorite Girl Scout cookie? If you've ever had one.
So I never had Girl Scout cookies until I came to the United States, and now I must say that it is the peppermint. What are they called again? Peppermint. The
mint snaps.
The mint, mint ones. Yeah, because of
Thin mints.
Thin mints. That's it. I was like trying to call it. Yeah, thin mints. Absolutely. They.
Have you had them frozen?
They're crack cocaine in this household, and if you don't get a couple of them beforehand, then you're never tasting them again. So, and I heard I haven't had them frozen, but I heard they're fantastic frozen. So that will be my next step.
Just don't chop them up with a credit card. If you're calling them some kind of drug, I'm concerned about your nasal passages.
Well, that's the way we need to do. I think we have to do that in this house. Then everyone gets an equal piece, because to eat one full cookie, you're frowned upon. Like, why are you eating a full cookie? That could be shared equally.
That's right. Everybody can enjoy that. Jeez, Francis, what are you thinking?
Yeah, exactly.
So who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? This is one we asked Tim, and I think it's going to be a mainstay of the show.
Raphael. Yes.
You guys are like blood brothers.
Yeah, the leader, the alpha male, the brains behind the operation. Or maybe not the brains, because Donatello's pretty smart as well. But he's just the one that seems to make the final decision, and I can really get behind that, if you know what I mean. He's
kind of the impetus for the action, the man with the size.
Yeah, and I mean, if I was to choose, I think that in the latest movie, which was, let's not get into it, but anyway, if Megan Fox was to be attracted to one, I think it would be Raphael. Hence why I would like to be Raphael. I don't
Despite
know why.
her lack of red hair.
Maybe she likes the color red. Maybe that's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Raphael,
she sees red
absolutely.
all the time. She seems like an angry lady.
Yeah.
What traffic sign would you be, and why? Take your time.
I think I would be yield. And I've never and dude, this is going to be probably the most absurd reason watching it. I just came to America, and I went flying through a sign that said yield, and at the same time my friend from college yelled, "Yield, man!" And I was like, that's the funniest word I've ever heard. Like, yield. No one says that in Scotland. It's either like, slow down, stop, mate. Like, just slow down. But yield is so funny. So I was just like, I love that word. So every time I drive by, I'd be like, yield. And just fly by through.
You just scream like, I yield to no man.
Yeah. Yeah, so yield is definitely my traffic sign, I think, for the future.
I like that. So this is our 11th question, and it's kind of specific to you. I did some digging on the internet and found out kind of what you're all about, and we'll dig into that a little more later. But what article of clothing makes the man?
Blazer.
Wow.
Yeah. It's,
can you elaborate?
I can tell a lot about a man by how fitted his blazer is. Whether he buttons one or buttons two. I mean, you don't want to be a two-button loser who can do that. No, but anyway, a blazer for me, it can describe to me what someone's feeling that day. That's why I talk a lot about fashion, because if I see someone with a well-fitted blazer, and you can tell they've got that era of confidence around them, and I think that a blazer is the thing that I would take to me if I was deserted on an island, because I would still look good and I would keep my hopes up.
I guess,
I have a quick question. What do you think about the Steve Jobs and the Homer Simpsons of the world that have one outfit and that's it?
I mean, Homer Simpson's made that outfit his own. I mean, I don't think anyone else could rock the white. Is it a white polo shirt? It looks like a white polo shirt.
But rather the people who wear pretty much the same boring clothes every day because they don't want to think about fashion, because it takes too much time.
Yeah, and I feel like those are the type of guys that have, I guess with Steve Jobs it's a little bit more complex, because you have such an in-depth array of intelligence that you're just like, all you're focused on is projecting what you're thinking out there, whereas some people are focused on trying to project themselves out there, because Steve Jobs' Apple wasn't sold on him, it was sold on his mind and what he could portray out there. And then in time, if you've seen, Steve Jobs would like maybe change up an outfit. Like it's not as if his persona was that was defined by the way he looked. And I think it was more about his brain, and maybe he thought that if he changed his outfit, then people would look away from his brain and what he stood behind. But Homer Simpson's a different kettle of fish. I mean, Homer Simpson's he's the modern day everyday man that likes, maybe that, I mean, the Homer Simpson character is funny because it's probably represented all across the United States, and these people are not Simpsons characters, but probably could make a good change if they were to drink less beer and maybe change out their outfit once in a while.
Well,
I think we all could use some change.
Yes, I think.
Barack Obama
Steve Jobs is a good example. I mean, I don't think Albert Einstein was walking around with a blazer and a bow tie, but I mean, there's tons of people that are so intelligent for me, and they have the same barrier of both. Bill Nye, who likes to rock the bow tie consistently, is one of the most known geniuses of our generation in the way he teaches and the way he speaks, but he still rocks a bow tie and he still likes to take pride in his appearance.
He does take time. I mean,
yes.
He's got to tie that thing. That must.
Yeah, he's got to tie it, unless you get a clip on, which I do, which is breaking the law.
Don't tell people that. That's a cheating.
This is breaking the law in the bow tie industry.
Yeah. Someone's gonna come after you, man. They're gonna have little bow ties.
They're no longer going to believe what. Yeah, they're no longer going to believe what I say. A man who clips his bow tie is no man to be trusted. I can see the headline right now.
I know I'm resending you in the mail soon enough. So, thanks for turning it to 11 with us, Francis. We're going to dig into your youth, maybe have you tell us a story or two. Since the show is kind of a little bit about video games and Twitch and, the whole new media scene. Could you tell us a little bit about, kind of how you grew up and playing video games and kind of, you mentioned Nintendo a little bit. Could you elaborate a bit more?
Yeah, so, I mean, it was either growing up playing video games or playing football, which you guys know is soccer. In the United Kingdom, you're not blessed with an array of different sports to play. You either play football or you don't. And if you are the latter, then you're considered a weirdo. Like, if you're a red-blooded male in the United Kingdom, you should be playing football, and that's the thing. I think it's changing a little bit now with basketball kind of coming on the scene, maybe rugby, but playing football was what I spent most of my spare time doing since the age of 4 till at least, and I'm being generally honest, at least 18. It's before I started to kind of go out and be more social, going out to bars and clubs because you can drink when you're 18. But playing football was the thing that I did, and that reciprocated onto video games. I would play FIFA, or at the time Pro Evolution Soccer, or any soccer game, because I was blessed enough to have a PlayStation and a Nintendo, and then I would go to my friend's house and he happened to have Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers, and that would be my other guilty pleasure to play. But I sometimes felt if you were caught like playing your Nintendo instead of playing your soccer game or Pro Evolution, whatever game it was, you're considered to be like strange. Like that was you wouldn't want to be caught doing that, because everything in my environment was surrounded around soccer, football.
Mm-hmm. Different world.
It's a different world, and it's a world that people still struggle to understand here, especially when I do soccer clips and I talk about it, and people are like, how do you live and breathe it so much? And I'm like, if you're grown up, it's like oxygen. You're grown up with it. You can't live without it. You just need to be in the United States. You guys are trained to like a sport for certain time of months. Like you're trained to like football from September to February, and then you're trained to like basketball from maybe December through, and then trained to like baseball. Like it's so strange. It's such a different culture. Whereas back home, you're trained to like football, and that's it. And it's a consistent thing. There's no breaks in between.
Well, I guess seasons aren't for everybody.
Yes.
I enjoy the changing of seasons.
Especially not Californians. They like to stick to summer.
That's fair. That's okay. So that's fair. You're consistent,
they like to
at
stick
least.
to summer for the full lifetime, and have maybe 2 days of rain in which everyone goes outside and pretends as if it's either acid rain coming from coming from the skies, and they're like, "Oh my God, don't touch me!" Or it's like little snippets of God's tears, and they're trying to catch it. Like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! It's rain."
Got like people running around with buckets.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. People are like, "There's such a drought going on," and I'm like, "Okay, but you don't need to be running around trying to catch buckets of rain. Like it's not get to that extreme yet."
When you're not like outside trying to catch rain with your girlfriend.
Yes, exactly.
When do you do you spend time in front of the camera? Like kind of at Young Turks, like what was your first big kind of thing? Like how did you do this?
Well, this is going to bring Matt Register right into the picture because Matt Register was the
let me get comfortable.
Matt Register was the potential employer in which I turned up for an interview 15 minutes late, must I say, Mark, correct?
That's right. I saw 50 other people that day, so I didn't notice.
Yeah, so I was a little bit late, and I turned up, and
he looked really good.
I looked good.
He looked really good.
I had on a tie and a vest, so I was dressing to impress. And it's funny enough, I haven't shared this part of the story. I wasn't going to go to the interview because I had a previous interview that morning that I thought I was just going to settle with. Like, it wasn't a job I wanted to do, but I just thought I will settle. But my girlfriend was probably hiding around here somewhere and taking applause to herself. She said, "Just go to it. You never know what might come of it. Just go and give it a shot." And then when I went, I was going for a social media advisor in which I was way underqualified. Like, not even qualified enough to log into the Young Turks Facebook, I don't think. So, and then Mark asked me if I talked soccer, and I was like, oh my God, my eyes got huge. I was like, I mean, I've never talked about it on camera, but I've played professional soccer. I
thought you said that you did.
I maybe said it to you.
Wow.
I maybe just fooled you completely. No, so you asked me if I ever been on camera, and I said I had done a couple of short movies in college. I done a little bit reporting when I talked to people for the Quaker campus for journalistic reasons, but I never hosted in front of a camera, so it was a little strange. And then when Mark said, "Would you like to talk about the World Cup?" I thought I was going to be writing it first, like maybe just doing some articles there, and I was like, fantastic. And he's like, "No, you have to come in and film. I'll give you some stories, and you have to host the stories and talk to the camera." So it was a little bit nerve-wracking. And my first, I still watch my video that I'd done the very first one on, and I was pretty good on the soccer stories, I have to say. I didn't stutter as much. I made my points, but on the American football stories, it was like the blind leading the blind. I was trying to find comfort behind the microphone, and if I could have physically hid behind the microphone, I would have, because I was just talking about Kevin Durant as if he was my next door neighbor. Like, Kev, yeah, you know Kev, he's a good basketball player, makes some good shots. So it was, and then from there it just kind of spiraled into something that I was doing part time. I was just doing it as a contractor, and then I got pretty good at it. The channel got used to having me on it, and then from there it's just been trying to find out what's my niche. Like, I obviously know soccer, but I have this love for film and television, and I have a love for talking about it, and I do that a lot now on What the Flick, the other channel, and I just I'm whored out to a lot of different places. Yeah, sometimes.
So in this whoring out though, it seems like you've gotten a lot of experience, and you're really comfortable in front of the camera, and
yeah,
I don't know,
it's
really cool.
It's a weird personality growth thing. Like, I've always been confident. There's no doubt that I've always been a confident guy, and I've, I guess, never really been afraid to say what I want to say. Like, from class discussions, I would always be the first one to talk. Sometimes people would get really annoyed by me because I'd be talking so much. But, I mean, it's something that I never seen myself doing in my career, was going in front of the camera to talk. But now that I have been doing it, I can't see myself doing anything else, and I want to improve consistently. It's good that I have experience, but as Mark will tell you, I'm always picking his brain to try and find out ways in which I can get better. Like, I need to start enunciating more. I need to start toning my accent so that it's not going away from my Scottish heritage, but it's enough that people understand. Because if I started talking like this, you'd be like, what's he saying? You know what I mean? Because with Scotland, this is the way we talk. We're going to hang out with our pals.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
exactly.
An incredible story, kind of.
Cinderella.
It's like it's beautiful. But what's like the best advice that you've ever got? You say you try to pick a lot of people's brains. What's maybe could you give us Francis's best advice for being an internet personality? Like, what would you say?
One, obviously, because Mark's here, is kind of funny, but it's just like he would just always say, "Just do it," and it was kind of like, is he just reading a Nike ad here and telling me what to say, or is he actually being right? And then after a while, it was in a sales environment. I wanted to do sales because at this point I felt that I had to be better at. This is my cat's tail, by the way. That's just decided to go in front. Kiki's, get away. Come on here.
Hi, Kitty. No, mine haven't intruded yet. Don't worry. There's
Thank you. There you go. That's the best thing you could have seen. Probably my dog is going to be up here very soon as well. So Mark definitely gave me some advice on that way. I think that Just Do It was one of the best ones. I think that Ben Mankiewicz, who's one of our most known hosts, who kind of has a career path that I would like to pursue, potentially, he would always just tell me that people can tell when you're being inauthentic on the camera. People can tell when you're being fake and you are saying something like just to get a rise or saying something just to please an audience. And he says, especially if you're going into film and television, if you're not honest, these people are fake for a living. So they will tell if you're fake straight away. Like if you're interviewing, I had a great chance to interview Muhammad Ali's family and the director of a Muhammad Ali documentary. And Ben told me before it, he was like, if you're being fake, they can tell. Like these people, their job is to understand and see through people. Most people that are directors or producers, they work with actors and actresses every day who at the click of a snap are changing characters. They know exactly what people are being different. So he always told me that I have to just be authentic. So there's my piece of advice. Write it down, put it on a postcard, and make some new cups out of it instead of this whole stay calm and carry on, which is kind of run out of steam, if you ask me.
Be authentic and just do it. I mean, geez, on YouTube specifically, people are making so much noise and making getting such a following, doing exactly that, right? Like authenticity and doing it.
Yeah, I think that on YouTube the best advice is definitely Mark's advice, is just to do it, because I mean, what is the worst that could happen? Like you don't get a certain amount of views and you don't take off immediately.
MLG No Scope 420 is gonna call you a loser.
Yes, but exactly.
That's about
it. Or you make a fool out of yourself and it's on the internet forever.
I mean, I've seen worse things happen. I've seen cats jump through the middle of interviews, for goodness sake. But
that was an integral part.
That's the best part. This house is a madhouse. Like there's cats everywhere, there's dogs everywhere. I'm getting yelled at for things that I don't even know I'm doing. Like, I mean,
it's called being married or in a relationship.
Yeah,
don't worry.
I mean, who even gets mad at someone leaving the toilet seat up? I don't even think that's a criminal offence in some places.
She could fall in and get stuck.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll get into kind of what you're into. You mentioned you're into some Vampire Diaries, which I'm never gonna let that go.
Yes, exactly.
What do you do for fun?
For fun, what is that again? That's that.
We won't remind you if you can't remember.
I play soccer whenever I can, like even if it's just on my own, and I get a couple of balls, and I'll go and just shoot, or it's such a zoning out method for me, just to like regather my thoughts and have some fun. I go to the gym, try to go at least 4 times a week, and I don't enjoy it that much, but it's like a necessity for me. So. And whenever I can, I play my PlayStation. That is a lot of fun for me, but I just got it for Christmas, PlayStation 4, and I haven't been able to play it as much, but I love.
Did you get to play anything? Like any games yet? Like do you have one
I've played a bunch. I play FIFA, and I play Call of Duty. I played Shadows of Mordor, like the graphics, because I've not had a PlayStation since PS2. I don't think, when I was back home. So
when they were all triangles.
To now come into PS4 is incredible. And as soon as I start to reshuffle my tasks and I start to have a set schedule, because at the moment the schedule is just awful. Like, I will go into work and then I'll think, all right, I could just leave today, and then I'll suddenly get an email. It's like, oh, you're going to have to go to a private screening of the new Julianne Moore movie at like 8 o'clock. So then I'm already on the west side and I want to come all the way across to the the north Los Angeles and have to go all the way back. So it's a tight schedule, but playing my PlayStation is it's actually on my to-do list. Like, I have a to-do list. It's all the things you have to do at work. My PlayStation is actually on it because I need to start having that fun again, because it's all work, no play at the moment.
Well, I hope I know Bloodborne comes out mid-month this month. That's supposed to be
I've heard about this.
Check that bad boy out. I think you'll. I don't own a PlayStation 4 and wish I did for that exact reason.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of you.
There's a few big games coming out. I'm excited to see. There's another Metal Gear Solid coming out, which is like the 30th Metal Gear Solid, I think. They've decided
Five.
I'm really excited to play that. So
those games are incredible.
Yeah.
So we have kind of a couple more minutes left, and I wanted to kind of give you a chance to talk a little bit about kind of some of the cool stuff that we found on the internet regarding Francis, specifically preparation fashion, and any other kind of shout outs that you'd like to make.
I started my own fashion blog just as a fun sort of thing to do, to demonstrate the importance of dressing well. In my perspective, I'd done that. I started that at the end of college, about May last year, just for a hobby, and people bought into it more, and I got an okay amount of following and an okay amount of website hits, and had worked with a couple of companies here and there. It's still not to the way that you'd have to do it to be self-sustaining, but I don't see that being my future career path, to be honest. I just see it as a way of me helping people and just doing something that I like to do. Again, it's now became more of a ritual. It's like, oh, I need to blog post today, I forgot, which is not good. And that's advice I have, is when you do something you like, make sure you still have fun doing it and it's a hobby, so that it doesn't become that ritual task that you don't look forward to doing. And that is not just because of the task itself being hard. It's not that hard. It's just because you take on so many, you try so many different things, it kind of gets pushed to the side. Because I now have TYT Sports, obviously, that I do for filming. I work on sales at the TYT network. I'm a host for What the Flick. I'm a host on Pop Trigger regularly, and I now work for 120 Sports, which is a Sports Illustrated app, in which I collaborate with some of their hosts and talk some soccer. And even just yesterday, I'm now going to write some reviews for an online website, Giant Cinema, to write some movie and television reviews. So if I have a spare 39 seconds, I could do something cool. Maybe turn on my PlayStation and turn it back off, just for the fun of it. So
it's gonna update.
It's gonna update. So maybe I'll do that, and I'll wait in 2 weeks, and when I have that other spare 35 seconds, I'll go and play.
Well, I wish you luck, Francis. It does sound like you're quite busy. Hopefully people can give you a follow on Twitter. It's at Francis_Maxwell. Am I correct? And thank you so much for your time. And this is Patrick, and that's the sweet stuff, Mark, as you already know. And this is Interview Titch, and we're signing out. So, Mark, how did you feel about our interview with Francis Maxwell?
I had a lovely time listening to Francis, and I think that it's fun to do these with people that we already know, because I get to learn a little bit more about people that I thought I already knew, but just kind of learn a little bit more. So it was really fun and exciting, and I actually wish that we had more time.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we'll have him on for kind of a part 2 once he starts playing on his PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the two of you should get together for some kind of Vampire Diaries party as well. I think that would be really fun.
I was very surprised. And also the submissive thing. I was like, he's a lot more watches Vampire Diaries, is submissive. It's all right. I'm getting to know Francis a lot more than I ever thought that I wanted to know him. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Well, it's an intimate experience.
It was great. And it's funny to watch his kind of evolution from all the, it's not his evolution, but just like no matter what field that he's in, he continues to just be the absolute best at it. So right now he's not only hosting on 18 different shows, he's also in the sales team. Yeah. And before he even joined the sales team, he made like 3 or 4 sales the year before, just because that's something that he just tried and he just did it.
Maxwell.
So I think exactly. So I just think that I'm very curious to see where he goes and what he continues to do, and if he switches paths, or just how many multiple projects that he has going on. But I just see him as a guy who just doing amazing things in a lot of different areas.
Yeah, he's a true mover and shaker. Man, we're really happy to have him on, and thank you, Mark, for setting up the interview. It was these people from TYT are quite popular, and they're hard to get a hang of. And my cat has come to visit, similar to Francis's cat. This was not coordinated in any way, shape, or form.
Well, cats equal success in the internet, or at least at Reddit.
That's what they say. Well, anyway, so this has been the second episode of Interview Twitch, and we're signing out.
Adios.